Hey everyone. Look, if you clicked on this explainer today, it's probably because you want to cut through all the noise and figure out exactly which AI tools you should actually be using. Well, here we are in mid-2026, and I've got a bit of a wake-up call for you. That whole era of the one-size-fits-all chatbot, yeah, it's completely dead. It's gone. We're now looking at a fundamentally fractured, highly specialized AI landscape. So today, we're going to break down the absolute heavyweights, Claude, ChatGPT, and Grok. And we're going to figure out exactly which one you need to choose to literally supercharge your workflow.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about the era of specialization, then meet the contenders, unpacking the AI superpowers, defining power versus impact, and finally, which should you choose? All right, let's get right to it.
Section 1. The era of specialization.
You know, if you're still asking which AI is the smartest, honestly, you're kind of asking the wrong question for 2026. The landscape has totally transformed. We've completely moved away from those generic jack-of-all-trades assistants we were all messing around with a few years ago. Now, we are dealing with specialized powerhouses that have very distinct, well, personalities. Sure, they all run on large language models, but their underlying architectures and what they were actually trained to do have diverged dramatically. Choosing an AI today is all about aligning the tool's specific personality and technical strengths with the exact tasks you do every single day.
Moving on to Section 2. Meet the contenders.
So here's the current state of the field. On the left, we've got Anthropic's Claude, currently running on Opus 4.8 and Fable 5. Now, its core philosophy is constitutional AI, which basically means it's incredibly focused on safety, accuracy, and deep, rigorous reasoning. In the middle, there's OpenAI's ChatGPT, now sitting at GPT 5.5. Their goal? Broad utility and just a massive ecosystem. And then on the right, xAI's Grok 4.3, which is built entirely around being real-time, a bit less politically correct, and heavily integrated into the X platform. I mean, look at this. They aren't even trying to be the same thing anymore.
And hey, before we move on, I just want you to let this number sink in for a second. 2 million. That is the massive token context window that Grok 4.3 is currently operating with. To put that into perspective for you, while Claude and ChatGPT both boast incredibly impressive 1 million plus token windows, which is huge, don't get me wrong, Grok is processing information at double that scale in a single prompt. It's like having a short-term memory the size of a library. It is a massive leap in how much data these models can hold and process all at once.
Which brings us to Section 3. Unpacking the AI superpowers.
To really find your perfect match, you gotta ask yourself, what do you actually do for work? Let's start with Claude. Claude has firmly established itself as the thinker and coder. Its Opus 4.8 model is currently just dominating the SWE bench, which is the absolute gold standard benchmark for solving real-world software engineering bugs. It produces way fewer hallucinations and handles complex, multi-step instructions better than anyone else out there. But its real superpower? That would be artifacts. This feature lets you generate code, build websites, or draft super long documents and then view them side by side with your chat, right in a single window. It completely transforms Claude from just a standard chatbot into literally the ultimate collaborative partner for builders.
Then we've got ChatGPT, which has basically evolved into the everywhere assistant. Its absolute superpower is its unmatched ecosystem and its computer use functionality. Thanks to some really deep partnerships with Microsoft and Apple, ChatGPT on GPT 5.5 can essentially grab the mouse and operate your desktop natively. Yeah, natively. Add in its massive library of custom GPTs and a human-level voice mode that is just incredibly polished, and you realize it's designed to be everywhere you are. Honestly, it's almost like it's doing your job for you. It's definitely the most integrated tool out there for non-technical users.
Now contrast that entirely with Grok, the real-time rebel. If Claude is all about deep building and ChatGPT is about broad, everyday assistance, Grok is about right now. Unlike Claude or ChatGPT, which, often rely on indexed web searches that might be slightly delayed, Grok has a live direct pipeline straight into X, the global town square. If a massive news story breaks or some social trend suddenly explodes, Grok can capture it and summarize it for you instantly. No waiting around.
And what's going on under the hood is actually wild. Grok 4 utilizes something called agentic collaboration. So instead of just having one massive brain trying to process your query, Grok uses this really clever 4-agent architecture. This means 4 specialized submodels are actually collaborating on a single task simultaneously. This setup gives Grok an unbelievable edge in raw speed, and it allows it to cross-check and verify incredibly fast-moving information across multiple domains in real time.
All right, Section 4, Defining Power versus Impact.
So, it's the million-dollar question, right? Which AI is actually more powerful? Well, as we sit here in 2026, I have to tell you, power is completely relative. Actually, it entirely depends on the specific metric you are looking at.
Let's actually look at the breakdown here. If you are grading on coding and logic, Claude is the clear winner, hands down. It consistently scores 88% or higher on expert-level, verified benchmarks for complex math and logic. If you're measuring multimodality, meaning seeing, hearing, and speaking, ChatGPT wins that race, driven largely by its Sora video generation and its incredibly advanced O1 and O3 reasoning lineages. But if you are grading on information freshness, Grok wins, period. That live X integration is just unbeatable for real-time data.
But raw power is very different from actual impact. Let's look at their footprints on the world right now. On a global scale, ChatGPT is basically dictating the economic pace. I mean, with hundreds of millions of users on its mobile app and acting as the engine behind Microsoft Copilot and Apple Intelligence, its market reach is absolutely massive. It's the default AI for the general public. On the other hand, Claude is having a much deeper, profound impact on the tech industry itself. Because developers and enterprise companies, they prioritize rock-solid accuracy over fun features. They simply cannot afford hallucinations. Because of that, Claude has quietly become the absolute gold standard for the people actually building our digital future.
Section 5, Which should you choose?
Okay, so let's bring it all together. The crucial takeaway here is this. You absolutely need to choose Claude if you are a developer, a long-form writer, or a researcher. If your daily work involves complex, multi-step instructions where a single logical error or, heaven forbid, a hallucination ruins your whole day, Claude's intense emphasis on safety, accuracy, and deep reasoning makes it your absolute best bet. Plus, with artifacts, it is for sure going to become your favorite coworker.
On the flip side, you should definitely choose ChatGPT if you are a non-technical user, a consumer looking for help with daily tasks, or honestly, if you just love using a highly polished voice interaction and image generation. If you want the ultimate all-around personal assistant that is seamlessly integrated straight into your phone and your desktop to just help organize your life, ChatGPT is still the undeniable king of consumer convenience. And finally, you should choose Grok if you're a news junkie, an investor tracking fast-moving markets, or just someone who prefers their data completely unfiltered and real-time. If you need to know exactly why a specific stock is crashing right this very second, or what some key figure literally just said 10 minutes ago, Grok's direct line to the global town square makes it the only tool for the job. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought. Look at how fractured and specialized these tools have become just by mid-2026. It begs a really fascinating question. As AI becomes even more specialized, are we moving toward a future where we don't just use an AI, but rather we all manage our own personalized team of different AI agents just to get through the workday? One to code, one to schedule, one to track the news. It's a pretty wild thought. Evaluate your workflows, pick your specialists, and I'll see you in the next explainer.